So I do record interactions with public through our body cameras.
Okay.
We'll be recording the conversation to make sure full transparency of everyone's alive.
So that'll be available for us to look at it. So okay.
Did you receive the email that I responded back
I did.
to you? Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I did.
Any questions on that or?
No. I just want to thank you guys for meeting with me today. And I want to begin by saying that I am not here to argue or pursue any kind of legal action. I'm here because I just need answers. And, you know, the death of my husband it's been very devastating.
Sure.
And, you know, the amount of pain that I've suffered has been immense. And, you know, all I'm here to do is seek clarity about what happened and why. And I know that you can't discuss some things. There may be some questions that I ask that you can't answer, but I do ask that you allow me to go ahead and ask them.
Certainly.
This is about understanding and about ensuring that what happened to Carl doesn't happen to anyone else in the future, and about me starting the process of my healing. And I just want to really, you know, get through this conversation, taking a step closer toward that understanding and ultimately some closure.
Okay.
And that's what I'm here for. So I do have some questions for you, and they are kind of specific. Some of them you might not be able to answer right off the bat, but just, you know, if you can do the best you can. And if there's something you can't answer, just let me know.
Sure.
Can you clarify for me the role that the Kirksville Police Department plays in incidents involving mental health crises, and what procedures are followed when they respond to such situations?
Okay, that's a pretty broad question. So we are partnered with the North Missouri Crisis Intervention, and the officers are trained with that. As a matter of fact, our deputy chief is the president of that right now, at this time, or the chair right now.
What's his name?
Deputy Chief Justin Jones.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, so we do interact with them regularly. And as far as mental health crisis, it depends upon how the crisis comes into dispatch. Generally, if it's anything that is suicidal, we respond, but we also have ACAT fire and mental health standing by, close by. Our role is to ensure that first off, things are safe for them to come in and interact.
Was mental health present the day that Carl was killed?
That I'm going to refer to the Highway Patrol.
Okay. How does the department determine when to request assistance from other agencies like the Missouri State Highway Patrol?
Any investigation that, say for example in this case, for this investigation, in order to make sure that it's a fair and unbiased investigation, we will take our hands off of it and we hand the entire thing over to the Highway Patrol.
Okay. Since the Missouri State Highway Patrol is handling the investigation, can you explain like the general process followed by that department when an external agency does take over an investigation that's involving an officer?
Any investigation that I hand over to the Highway Patrol, it basically involves a letter to them that we fax to them, and then they accept the investigation, and then we give them free and full access to anything they need, from body camera to dispatch recordings to they interview the officers.
So how was it if you contact them with a letter that they were there the night that my husband died before he was even dead, questioning me, and I don't even remember what I said or what they asked me?
Critical incident, we call them and they respond right away.
Okay. How does the police department collaborate with the Missouri State Highway Patrol during their investigations?
We provide them access to anything they ask
Any
for.
information? Yeah, you did already answer that. I
Anything
apologize.
they ask for, we provide them.
We know there were other officers present during this incident, including Officer Michael Davis, who had a taser. Can you explain, like, an officer's role that would have a taser in a situation like that, and why the taser was not used immediately in this situation?
Okay, I can't speak specifically to this case. I'm going to refer that to the Highway Patrol. However, I can give you some information on the taser and the way that it operates.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay. The current taser model that we're using is the X26. And the way that operates is that two probes come out, one comes straight, and one comes at about a 15-degree angle. Okay, we're limited to about 12 to 15 feet with these wires. If those wires don't make connection, if one does and one doesn't, or one hits a boot and doesn't actually penetrate through to get the arc through the skin, they are completely ineffective. They have no effect whatsoever. Right?
And how far do they need to reach to be
12 to
effective?
15 feet,
That's
so.
about 12 to 15 is maximum.
Maximum.
That's the maximum. So
What's the minimum?
minimum, you can be up close and use them, but here's the deal: is you have to have about 18 inches of spread between the two probes to achieve what's called neuromuscular incapacitation. In other words, the muscles lock up and the person can't move. Anything less than that, they can actually move, fight through it, and still cause harm to other people. So if you see some taser videos, you'll see they actually take a couple steps back to try and get to that, like if they're right on
Well,
top
if
of
that
somebody.
happened in a situation where someone was suicidal and wasn't currently, if it happened in a situation like that, why wouldn't they, at that point when the person is, they may not be completely incapacitated, but they could be, is there no other people with tasers or any other alternative ways to incapacitate someone that's suicidal or put a stop to it?
I'll speak in generalities, not to the specific case. In generalities, anyone that is armed, we do have, especially if it's a lethal weapon that they're carrying, the procedure is to have an armed officer and someone with less lethal to try and use less lethal. If
So every officer should have a taser.
everyone does have a taser, yes.
Okay. How does the police department typically communicate with the public about investigations, especially when an external agency is involved? Because I know you guys did go ahead and put out the body cam footage on YouTube for everyone in the world to see. And, I appreciate my opportunity to see that. I feel weird about everybody in the world seeing my husband die, but how do you guys usually communicate with the public about these kind of investigations?
You can look at best practices throughout the U.S. Anytime there's a critical incident involving an officer-involved shooting, generally you'll see body camera come out pretty quick.
And is there other body camera footage that was not available to the public that I would have access to?
You can have access to any body camera footage you'd like.
Okay, I would like access to any body cam footage that you have from that day at my address. If you can handle that for me.
Sure.
What
I'll do is I'll put it on a flash drive. It may take a couple days to get it all
Sure,
downloaded.
that's fine.
Put it on a flash drive and have it delivered to you.
Thank you. Are there any community initiatives or programs that are aimed at ensuring transparency in cases like this?
Not that I'm aware of as far as community initiatives. I know that we try and be as transparent and put out everything in accordance with the Missouri Sunshine Law that we can.
Okay. These are some questions regarding support for family and victims. What resources or support does the KPD offer to the families of individuals involved in police-related incidents, particularly when those incidents lead to death?
We don't have any funding for any specific programs like that at all.
Okay. And can you guide me on the process for obtaining my husband's death certificate? Because the cause of death is still pending, but I know damn good and well how he died, because he died 4 times from 2 gunshots. And, I need other official records that are still complete. Do you know why I haven't been able to get any of that stuff? Because they told me toxicology results should take only up to 30 days, and it has been months and months, and I don't even know, there's no cause. I have, a $40,000 hospital bill, and I have no cause of death to be able to get my insurance to even pay anymore, or even know if they will, and I can't close his bank account. I can't do anything.
Have you talked to?
I've tried to call Brian No several times. They're just waiting on him to come to the funeral home and sign the paper, and he won't return my calls, and he won't take my calls.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have anything to do with that. He is a county employee.
So that's
elected
just the
to
step I'm
county.
waiting on is him, and that's where I'm
Right.
at.
I don't have any pull as
Well,
far as county employees go.
I might just have to go pay him a visit, because obviously he's not going to answer me. So thank you.
Take a note about that.
Can you describe the crisis intervention and mental health training that Kirksville police officers receive? I know you told me that it's the North Missouri Crisis Intervention Training, but can you give me just a summary or a brief explanation of how that training works?
So there's a 40-hour course that they go through, and it involves multiple scenarios that there are either, actually they have to go through both being an actor.
Were they doing that over at the movie theater a few years ago? I could have swore I saw all the cops at the movie theater and they said they were doing crisis intervention training or something like that.
Possibly.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, possibly. They have several places that they put it on.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's a 40-hour course that they go through that's certified through the state.
Okay.
Is this? I was trained in de-escalation when I worked for Sheridan Valley, and it was MANT. Is it MANT or something similar to that?
I'm not sure.
Are you familiar with
Well,
what
it's
MANT is?
No.
North
Okay.
Missouri Crisis Intervention. I don't know what the
Okay.
further thing would be.
So I
What
thought that was
steps?
excellent. I would recommend it.
Yeah, you did say that. What steps are taken to ensure officers are adequately prepared to handle mental health crisis without escalating to force? I mean, we've got every officer has a taser.
Mhm.
What else? They've
Well,
had
they-
the training.
They have this training. There's annual de-escalation training that's mandated by the state that they go through.
What's that called?
De-escalation.
That's it?
Mhm.
Who teaches it for the state?
So the way the state runs their courses is that anybody who has a course put together, they send it into the state to get it certified as approved, and then that can count as post credits. So every officer has to have so many post-hour credits per year.
Is this done like online or is it done in person with everybody there? Or?
It depends on the agency. Yeah.
Okay. Will the department contact me with any updates or public statements related to the incident, including updates on the cause of death and progress with the investigation when it's closed?
Well,
least?
we're not involved in the investigation. The Highway Patrol does all of that.
Okay.
I don't foresee them putting any kind of press release out.
Okay.
I don't foresee us putting any additional press releases out on it.
All right. In light of Carl's death, is there an ongoing or planned reevaluation of the department's policies on the use of force, particularly in situations involving individuals who may be experiencing a mental health crisis or who pose no immediate threat to officers?
I'm sorry, can you give me that question again?
Is there any ongoing or planned reevaluation of the department's policies on the use of force, particularly in situations involving individuals who might be experiencing a mental health crisis or who don't pose immediate danger to officers?
Generally speaking, our courses are updated every year, either through the post certifications that they get or through the CIT training.
Okay. No reevaluation planned?
Well, as they reevaluate the courses every year and do annual updates
Okay.
for those.
Does the department review its use of force incidents to identify patterns and areas for improvement?
Yes, every officer does a use of force report, and we review those annually.
Can you clarify the internal review process for officers involved in critical incidents like this? Is there like a disciplinary action process if officers are found to have acted outside of policy or procedure?
We follow the Missouri State Officers Bill of Rights, which is a law that was signed into effect, I believe, last year, and that covers how internal investigations are handled.
How often are officers reassessed for their fitness to handle situations involving de-escalation, mental health crisis? You said yearly. What lessons, if any, have been learned from Carl's death regarding the response to mental health crisis, and how will these lessons be incorporated into future training or policy changes?
So every critical incident that we go through, regardless of what the outcome, we all do a in-house debrief on them and look at what worked, what went right, what went wrong, things we could do better.
Would you be willing to give me access to that debrief?
No.
Are there any planned departmental changes or updates to protocol as a result of Carl's death at all?
Not that I'm aware of.
These are transparency of officer-related incidents. Will there be a publicly accessible report or summary release? You already said no. Well, when the Missouri State Highway Patrol, they're not going to release anything either, probably.
Probably not. However, I will tell you this: Missouri Sunshine Law does require that we have it publicly available. Certain
I've already
information.
made a request with the Sunshine Law through the Missouri State Highway Patrol for lots of stuff. So as soon as you said that, I went ahead and got that taken care of.
Yeah.
Has the Kirksville Police Department considered developing or enhancing partnerships with mental health crisis teams or professionals who could assist in these situations real time?
We do have regular partnerships with them right now.
Okay, so like you have partnerships with mental health professionals that come like in a ambulance or something and they come to the scene. But what about a mental health professional that's particularly trained in de-escalation with suicidal people that are self-harming. That's a different thing. Because the medical people that you're talking about just kind of stand out there and see if they need to take them away or not. I mean, let's be real. But a de-escalation professional, like somebody from Mark Twain or Preferred, might be more appropriate.
Okay, so the crisis intervention team, that includes fire, ACAD, police, Mark Twain. They're all part of that team.
So can you tell me if there were any mental health professionals at all there the day that Carl died?
I'm going to refer you to the Highway Patrol report.
What efforts are being made to expand or improve the department's use of non-lethal options like tasers in situations where deadly force might otherwise be used?
Well, publicly available information is on the City Council website. We did cover one purchase we are making, not related to this incident, but it will change our use of force a little bit. It is a different style of taser that does give more options for use and extends the range out to about 45 feet. So that will actually...
I wish you would have had that. Has the department considered introducing new technology or techniques to assist? We just said that. What is the protocol for providing post-incident support to officers involved in deadly force situations, particularly those who might be dealing with trauma or stress as a result?
We use the debrief team from the Highway Patrol where they come in with officers that have been through this, and they sit down with the whole shift and do a debrief with them. Through our employee assistance program, we do offer a period of counseling as well.
Does what steps is the department taking to review and possibly revise its internal policies and procedures in light of incidents like this? I would say this one specifically, but I can't.
In general, our policies are reviewed
just yearly and
yes,
revised yearly.
Yes. And we actually use a company, Lexipol, that helps develop policies, and they give me regular updates on separate policies. It could be anything from driving to use of seatbelts even. They give us policies on everything.
Do you guys remember Jeffrey Williams, the black man that was killed about 20 years ago in front of the IV gas station? Or not killed, he was beaten severely. He was having a mental health crisis, and the police department
2003
ended up beating him severely to the point where his kneecaps were completely imploded and his face was imploded on the side. And he didn't get killed. He's still alive, but I don't see that things have gotten any better since 20 years ago, because it just seems to have gotten worse. I mean, what are you guys going to do to make sure this doesn't happen to somebody else? Because my daughter used to self-harm. She had knives. What if it would have been my daughter standing there with a knife and she stepped forward to brace for a taser and got shot and killed? It could be anybody. It could be anybody's child.
I've only been here 4 years. I'm not familiar with the case you're talking about.
Well,
I can't speak to that.
I'd be happy to have Mr. Thomas email you the YouTube video where the chief talks about it. There's a protest and an audience, and Alan's in the protest, and he gives an interview. So that was at least one other situation where the same sort of thing occurred. It just didn't lead to death. Would you be open to answering a couple of questions since you are here? I didn't realize.
Something that I'm allowed to answer. Sure.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm getting everything mixed up. So I just didn't know a lot about the city's roles in some of this, so that's mostly what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
What is the city's role in overseeing the police department's training and policies, especially in relation to mental health crisis response?
Specifically overseeing
The police
department's
department's training and policies.
I would probably refer you to the city manager on that. The police chief directly reports to the city manager.
Okay. Can you speak to the city's stance on police accountability and transparency when it comes to incidences like Carl's?
Specific to your incident, I'm not going to make
No,
comment
when
on
it comes
that.
to incidences like that.
Just in general, yeah, we try to be as transparent as possible with all of our dealings with the public, whether it be information that we present to the city council or budgets or anything else. I feel like our website and our communications through our communications department does a really good job putting out information to our citizens.
Yeah, there's some stuff on the city council website apparently I didn't know about, so I'll be checking that out. Is the city involved in reviewing policy practices, and if so, how frequently are those reviews conducted?
Annually, yeah.
And how does the city collaborate with community organizations and mental health professionals in the development of police training?
I think Chief Williamson's already addressed that.
Okay. But he didn't really say how the city has anything to do with it. He just said that they get reviews annually. Are you guys the one that choose what the reviews are and what the programs are, and or they choose, or what's the city's role?
I can answer that. So the city manager is my direct supervisor, but I'm the one who makes the decisions as far as the direction that the department goes, and then she does an annual review of my performance.
Okay, gotcha. What steps is the city taking to build stronger relationships between law enforcement and the community, particularly with vulnerable populations?
You can refer that to the police chief.
Well, we are partnering with a major partner with Special Olympics is one thing that we do annually. Especially this year, we've got a very large Special Olympics coming in that we're a major partner in.
Okay. What measures does the city have in place to ensure that police officers are held accountable for their actions, particularly in the case of fatal shootings?
There is an internal review process, and then, as you're aware, we do outsource the investigations to the Missouri State Highway Patrol.
And how does the city ensure that all investigations related to police use of force are conducted impartially and transparently?
I would refer that to the police chief.
So, as I talked about before, the use of force, we are required to do an internal review of the use of force. We do have individual use of force forms that the officers put in. In addition to that, we do report use of force to the state.
Okay. I'm going to try not to keep asking the same questions over, but
Sure.
I kind of thought the city might have had a separate and different role, so that's why I was trying to separate them.
It's not like in other communities where like a police department or we're in maybe a county situation where it's a separate department. We are part of the same organization, so it's sort of the same operational standards.
Okay. Let me just look here. What resources or support does the city offer to families who have experienced loss due to police involvement, like counseling or advocacy services?
It's part of our EAP program, as the chief already discussed.
No, to the families. You all didn't offer me any EAP.
Well, he said they didn't have any funding for it, so I guess that would apply also to the city since it's all the same organization, right?
Yeah,
No
I'm
funding.
unaware of any
Yeah.
outreach program.
They wouldn't have to
specifically
pay
that.
for it. They could refer someone to counseling or advocacy services without coming up with any money. So does the city offer families who have experienced loss due to police involvement any type of referrals to counseling or advocacy services? Do they contact them at all? Do they follow up with the families whose lives they've influenced?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any policy like that. I know we do have partnerships with Mark Twain and other agencies that they all do that kind of outreach. Sorry.
Okay. Is the city considering implementing any new policies that focus on alternative response, like mental health professionals being a part of the response teams? You already said that wasn't really something specifically that you were doing right now, but you did have some people from Mark Twain already.
Right. So we do, like I said, we do partner with them, and we do transport to their 23-hour chair that they have sitting over there. That is that we can take voluntary people who are seeking self-harm. If they're voluntarily willing to go over there, we can take them over there, and they have a chair for them for up to 23 hours, I believe.
I really appreciate that you guys wear street clothes today, because I'm really scared of police now, and I just want to know that what are you guys doing? How can I feel safe? What can you tell me that's going to make me feel safe again? And other people that I know are affected by this too. The whole community, a ton of people knew Carl, and he was a good man. And he was just going through something terrible. And I don't know how I can ever feel safe again. Do you have anything you can tell me that will help me feel safe? I don't even feel safe being around a police officer. I'm terrified. I'm terrified that I'm going to get pulled over and do something stupid and get hurt.
I can empathize with the way you feel. I've never experienced anything like that, so
I couldn't even drive for a long time.
Right, and you've experienced a horrible loss in your family, and I understand that. And there are no words that I can say that are going to make you feel better. There's nothing that I can say that's going to...
I just want to feel safe. I want to know that you guys are making sure that this doesn't happen to somebody else. And it doesn't happen to me or someone that I care about.
I can tell you that I have watched our officers put themselves in harm's way to protect people. And that's what they've sworn to do.
Well, Missouri Standard Ground Law is kind of contradictory to that whole statement. Because if they think their life is in danger, they don't have to move back or do anything to try to de-escalate any further. They can just shoot and kill. And I don't really appreciate that law because I understand if their life is in danger that they need to protect their life, but I really believe that Carl was just moving forward to brace for the taser. I didn't even see him bring the knife up at all. So I really need to see some more body cam footage because I never saw that. I never saw that, so I don't even believe that happened. And I know that witness statements aren't reliable, so that's why I really need to see what I can see so that I can make sense in my head.
Okay. Well, again, I'll refer you to the Highway Patrol's report because that'll have a lot of specifics that you're asking.
Well, you were telling me that you would provide me with the body cam footage. So hopefully that can help me see what happened for sure. And if he raised that knife and lunged at them, I want to see it because I don't remember seeing that. All I can remember is he took 2 steps forward, and I thought he was just bracing for the tase because I actually thought that he got tased. I didn't even know he got shot until a police officer outside told me that he got shot. I was so freaking traumatized. I saw the gun and I heard the shots, and I even covered up my ears, but I still believed he had gotten tased. And so if I was that convinced, he thought he was about to get tased and not shot. And I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't suppose there's any way that I could see Officer Ford and just, I just want to look him in the eye, and I don't want to talk to him much at all. I just want to see him, and I just want him to tell me he's sorry.
Okay. I don't believe a meeting with Officer Ford would be productive at this point.
I didn't think you would, but I had to ask.
Is there anything else I can...
I don't think so. Is there anything I've forgotten, Alan?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I thank you guys very much for meeting with me.